Why do people say bless you when I sneeze, but get angry when I fart? If God can make me, why does he also make fuglies like you? Why do we call vegetarians who eat fish pescatarians instead of what they actually are? Murderers. Beauty is only fin deep. Why do men have man buns, but girls don't have girl buns? You park in the driveway and drive on the parkway, but it's illegal to be high on the highway? There's a reason why the attire for a man is the same at a wedding and a funeral. They're different kinds of the same death. Beggars can't be choosers unless they're choosing to beg. If a dragonfly loses its wings, shouldn't it become a dragon? Everyone accepts that mermaids are hot, but refuse to accept manatee's beauty. It's the original fat shaming. You know what's deep? Not being shallow.
I'm Wilford Brimley, and I have diabetes. It hurts me to pee, and it causes me to be short with my family. I can't sleep at night. The other day, I stubbed my toe and took it out on the dog. And 2 weeks ago, I ran out of vanilla ice cream and struck my wife. And then I find out my wife's been dead for 6 years. Who the hell did I hit?
This is, awkward, but, have we ever actually, met? I mean, I don't even know, say, for example, if you have a room up there. A room? I have a room. Meg, if you kill yourself now, you'll probably get a full page in the yearbook.
It's showtime at the pub!
What? I'm tired. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's a black show. Well, I can't be tired at 1 in the morning?
Skills, and...
And?
I gotta be honest with you. I only have another week and a half here, and I have completely checked out.
How?
Yeah.
Well, what should I do?
Chef?
Hey!
Ah, you got me.
Oh, not quick enough.
Not quick enough, no. No, I was close, though.
You were close.
Huh. Hey, did you ever notice this? On page 375, it says Jeebus.
It's supposed to be Jesus, right?
I'm afraid I have some very bad news. Your wife's gonna be a vegetable. You'll have to bathe her, feed her, and care for her the rest of her life.
Oh, my God.
No. I'm just kidding. She's dead.
We'll continue this discussion tonight, young man. A woman is not an object.
Your mother's right, son. Listen to what it says.
Who's Steve?
What?
Oh, there's a message on the machine from somebody named Steve?
Oh, yeah, Steve. He's new to the mountain. I met him down at the general store. He makes canoes.
Oh. How come I've never met him?
He hasn't really been here that long.
Long enough to get your number.
Okay, now, if I get a fax, can I stay online and still receive the fax without a dedicated line?
Yeah, you can put a piece of paper in here and make like a phone call, and your friend will get another piece of paper with the same picture.
Can I possibly speak to someone who didn't come to this country on a floating door?
I got some candy in my van if your kid wants some.
Oh, great. Wait a second.
Ah, you got me. You got me. Oh, man. I'll get him, though. I'll get him.
Oh, I bet you will. I bet you will.
Is that dog? Is that another dog on the TV? Huh? You see that? Go get it. Go get it. God, what's that? What's that? What's that? Oh, what's that? Who's there? Is there somebody at the door? Somebody at the door? Huh? Somebody at the door? Huh? What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do?
I'm not a dog, you fat bastard!
Well, hello, S. Forgive me for pointing.
Chris, you're 100% safe.
Okay, that's him, number 6.
Hi. Excuse me, you guys? Yeah, I'm here to pick up my son, Chris Griffin. He's here to finger the guy who held up that convenience store. Maybe you've seen him. His name is Chris Griffin. Oh, wait a sec. You know what? I think I got a picture of him somewhere. Here you go. Yeah, you can go ahead and hang on to that. I got a ton of them at home.
Welcome. We open today's bidding with this pair of panties confiscated from a prostitute.
$50.
She had 9 STDs.
$45.
And when we caught her, she wet herself.
$50.
You remember that time I gave you apple juice and told you it was wine?
I think you are a special person.
Thanks.
Now, come on. I'm being serious. I'm going to be serious here for a second. Are you going to listen to me? Are you going to listen to me so I can tell you that I respect you?
I don't need it anymore, Lois. I quit the team.
Quit the team? But you can't quit jousting. The big meet is today, and I thought you were...
Did you just say big meat?
Oh, my God, I did. Oh, we almost missed that one.
I know, that was a close one.
Fascinating.
Hey, shouldn't you be doing the news?
Oh, no, we're doing a best of news bloopers.
Now, an update. Apparently, the Touth Sour has just collapsed. Touth Sour? What is it? What Touth? Okay, let's go again. I'm Tom Tower. Holy crap.
What kind of gifts have boys gotten for you, Meg?
Oh, well, my boyfriend, Prince William, got me this beautiful watch, and this diamond tiara, and this wonderful scepter.
She needs to get laid big time.
Maybe you got a Saturday night free? Yeah, you know what? The hell with you then. Yeah, go to hell. Go to hell. Hey, I'm Peter. What do you say you and me go get a couple beers, yeah? Maybe we could... fine. You know what? You got mosquito bite boobs anyway. I don't care. I don't need you. Hey, how are you? I'm Peter. I got a coupon for Sizzler with your name on it. You know, maybe the two of us get you... you know what? I don't care. You're a bitch.
I'm gonna be cooler than Brian when he hangs out at the bowling alley.
That's what I love about high school girls. I keep getting older, they stay the same age. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
What, you don't think this is amazing? When I saw this at the 1904 World's Fair, I nearly crapped my pants.
I'm gonna become a model.
Hey, that's fantastic, Lois. And I'll pleasure myself to your photos.
Me too.
Me too.
Oh, God, Meg, that's sick. That's your mother.
I'm just trying to fit in.
Get out. Get out of this house. I said no! That's good about your modeling, Lois.
Hey. How you doing there, big guy? You holding up all right? You want a soda? Oh, screw it, I tried.
Dad, how could you be okay with Mom parading herself around like this? I mean, she's half naked. It makes all women look bad.
Meg, who let you back in the house? I'm not really sure what to do here. Boy, you put on weight, Jackie Chan.
Oh, my God.
Did you walk?
How do I shoot? How do I shoot?
Press B button.
What are you doing?
You were busy, so I played your guy.
Fine, I didn't want to play anyway.
Well, then it worked out for everybody.
I'm gonna go draw boobs on the Etch-a-Sketch.
Go ahead, they always come out square.
$10.
$5.
$8 and I'll do it.
Fine.
Help! I've escaped from Kevin Spacey's basement! Help me! Ha! I am so outrageous. Give me the cash.
Cold in here?
Nope, just really small.
What are you getting all bent out of shape about?
Well, you know, Carl, I got virtually nothing here, you know?
Look, I don't see what the problem is.
No, you wouldn't, would you? Now, look, all I'm saying is I got the raw end of the deal.
You invited me over.
Yeah, well, now I'm regretting it.
Oh, what brilliant parenting, Lois. Leave a tiny infant with a plastic bag. You know, I might asphyxiate myself just to teach you a lesson. Here I go, just like that boy from In Excess. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Blast! Good Lord, Lois, either I was a C-section or you're Wonder Woman.
Crap!
It is real.
Oh, my God! I thought I was the only one!
Meg, we're doing Chris's monkey.
This isn't just any chat, it's ClickUp chat. Sure, you can tag your team.
Is Clavicular signing girls to 360 OF contracts? Maybe, but also, is that a member of the Israeli mafia in his stream? Is this a kick streamer that blew up really fast on stream with an Israeli mafia member that just so happens to be the brother of another wanted mafia affiliate that I covered in a previous video? Uh-oh. Hopefully this isn't something I wasn't supposed to notice, because I'm scared now. But first, what do Andrew Tate, Jack Doherty, and Clavicular have in common? Well, how do I say this without getting demonetized? Well, I'll just let the man, the myth, the legend himself, Varys, aka the ASU frat leader, tell you what I'm trying to say.
So you have vulnerable girls like Scarlett, Mia. They're like, what is this stuff? What's OnlyFans? Like, what's so cool about it? Like, what?
This next part that I'm about to say also happened allegedly. So 3 days ago, allegedly, I get a phone call from Scarlett. She's like bawling her eyes out. I don't really know what to do. I signed an OF contract, allegedly with Daddy Clav, 70-30. He gives me a free house, and like, I feel so bad. I don't know what to do. Like, I want to go home.
But Clav is allegedly just doing something that Andrew Tate pioneered, that Jack Doherty did better because he didn't end up with criminal charges.
It makes a lot of money.
Did he sell you a dream?
It does make me sad, though.
He sold you a dream?
Yeah, he did.
What did he say?
Like, crazy. Like, I was gonna be a multi-millionaire, and we're not there yet.
Like, how much percent is taken from you?
A huge amount.
How much is it?
When I started, 80%.
He took 80% of you?
And now, Clavicular has allegedly entered this world. Like, damn, imagine getting signed to a 360 OF contract. But people first started to speculate this after a girl started arguing with the cameraman on Clavicular's stream, where the guy off camera roasted her for being a 28-year-old trying to promote her content by streaming with a 20-year-old.
You're 28 years old on a 20-year-old live stream trying to sell your OnlyFans subs.
And she replied by saying that she was signed to Clav.
I'm literally signed with Clav.
So you can put two and two together. And I don't know where he was at this point, but when he comes back on camera, this guy is trying to show him something. And although he's trying to keep it a secret, he's trying to figure out what someone said, and you can clearly hear him say that he's talking about the girl behind him.
Who is this?
Brandy?
Bitch behind you. Wait,
I'm Julia.
Wait, what? Who? Bitch behind you?
And it gets really tense, like, by his face and the tone change of the guy off camera, you'd think they just accidentally committed a crime on stream. However, Varys gives a pretty crazy account from a phone call he says he received from a crying girl in Clavicular's house. And just by the way he says this,
Shit.
I'll believe him. That is the tone of someone who just says something out loud that he thought he was supposed to keep secret. But if you watch a few of this guy's streams, you'll notice that there seems to be a pretty consistent girl in the background. Like, I don't know who she is, and she usually doesn't talk, but she's always lingering around in the back. And Violet is allegedly a recruiter. And honestly, sometimes it's hard to tell if this is always the same girl because he has so many different women rotating around him that they all kind of start looking the same. Now, Varys, who went viral for essentially making Clav look like a little boy because, I mean, he's jacked, like he's been playing Division I football since 3rd grade. He seemed to add context to these speculations about Clavicular using the Jack Doherty contract method in a rant about how Clav tried to sign him to an extortionate contract to keep appearing on stream with him, where supposedly he was going to take 80% of the revenue and give Varys 20%. Which Varys refused because, well, he was already viral and he could just make his own money by streaming himself, which he has, as his kick is almost at 10,000 followers. But he was so offended that dude tried to finesse him that he just completely exposed the fact that Clav is now, managing these content creators. Sorry, I'm really trying not to get demonetized, but there's only so many ways I can get around saying it. But the girl that called him crying is named Scarlett, allegedly. And part of the deal she had is getting 70% of her profit taken, but all of this leads to a legal gray area that I noticed a while ago. And honestly, it's pretty strange because doing this on the street would be a felony, but in a digital space, it's technically not against the law. Because I mean, good luck trying to explain an OF contract with a kick streamer to a 70-year-old congressman. It does become illegal, however, if a girl is being held against her will, and that's kind of what got Andrew Tate and his brother in trouble because they were just fine running a webcam business, but when some girls ran to law enforcement in Romania and said they were being held against their will, that's when it became a criminal investigation. But I do have to point out that it's hard to feel sorry for some girls that signed these contracts by choice with this guy, if that is what happened. And Varys even said he asked the Scarlet girl a pretty valid question regarding the contract.
Like, I kind of told her, I was like, are you a fucking stupid bitch? Why would you ever sign that?
But I understand the trade-off, right? you just being some girl selling this type of content means nothing if no one knows you. Because if no one knows you, then who's going to subscribe to you? And if you don't have any customers, then you don't have any money. So for sure, taking advantage of being seen and doing business with a guy who has a huge, mainly male audience would of course possibly allow you to make millions of dollars. And if you just getting 30% of that revenue is worth it, then that's on you if you sign it. You can't cry now because you knew you only signed that contract because you was being a clout demon. But then again, Varys did say that some of these girls were being introduced to this type of content by the Violet girl, the one that's always in the background that he says acts as a recruiter. And he kind of alluded to this Violet girl being the Jelaine in the situation, indicating that she was convincing some girls that didn't make this type of content to make this type of content, which does seem kind of predatory if that's true. But it makes me wonder, does this have anything to do with this guy? Because I saw this video, and this is apparently Hai Waknin, which is very strange, a very strange individual for a clavicular to be seen with. Like, I understand that he sometimes frequents Miami, but what are the odds that I actually made a video about the Israeli mafia where I covered his brother, who's actually a wanted man right now? And here's a quick recap from my old video about his brother, just in case you missed it. And when you hear about Israeli crime syndicates, much like the Italian mafia, all you hear about is illegal gambling schemes. But sometimes even that can be a bit more serious. Asaf Wanin is an Israeli crime boss that, despite being deported in 2011, was also present at the illegal poker games in the Hollywood Hills with Gilbert Arenas and the Sicilian mob in 2023. And instead of just relying on people paying back their debt on time, he put together a team of Crips and members of the Mexican mafia in LA to make sure all these celebrities and rich people didn't even consider not paying what they owed. And one day, an Israeli man who may or may not have been connected to another crime syndicate was leaving a poker game in LA when he was ambushed and killed. And this was apparently something Asaf would mention when threatening people over debt. And then houses started being set on fire in Southern California. And yeah, it starts to get out of hand because, in case you didn't notice, illegal gambling is very, very popular in Los Angeles. Really, the entire LA County and Orange County. But all of this is just a criminal complaint against Asaf since he hasn't actually been caught and he's on the run, believed to be in Mexico. But the LAPD have also tied these gambling houses to the disappearance of a woman named Heidi Plank, as Heidi was last seen at a high-rise in downtown LA that was hosting another one of these gambling houses in a unit, with her car being found a week later. But this was in 2021. As of 2025, she still hasn't been found. But of course, gambling isn't the only thing. Now, in case you couldn't tell from what I learned about him in that video, it would appear that Asaf was the muscle, and his job seemed to involve enforcement and making sure the money was not only being made, but also collected. But still, I consider that me learning about him and then seeing his brother with a streamer that many people feel had some type of secret backer could have still been a coincidence. And it very well could be. And yeah, I've heard the claim that the Mafia affiliate was only there to get Clav unbanned from clubs in Miami or something. And sure, Hai is very connected in Miami. But that does not make it any less sketchy, because of course the Mafia could get you unbanned from nightclubs, but in a 2004 article from the Jewish news outlet Forward, it was reported that Hai was often seen in Las Vegas with, ladies of the night, which is something that in my opinion could have led to his meeting with Clav, as if what this girl and Varys said is true, it would seem as if Hai could be helping connect Clav with some of these girls, if not the other way around. Which, either way, would be really dangerous because these guys are real traditional mafia types. Like, I say that only one brother was the muscle, but according to a Homeland Security special agent, both brothers had a violent reputation spanning over 20 years in LA. And one of them, the one who's currently on the run, was found guilty in the past of tapping the phone of an LAPD officer that was investigating him. But where all of this connects to the streamers and OF is the fact that in illegal high-stakes poker games that Asaf would organize in the Hollywood Hills, using the houses of celebrities as his personal casino, the game was the rich people playing poker were being ripped off. But part of the distraction was the staff he hired to be at the poker parties, which included models and influencers, with some of these girls giving massages to the guys playing, all in an effort to distract them from the fact that they were being cheated. And at the end, he'd take half of all the tips from the influencers and waitresses. So this is why I believe that it was possible for these brothers to be in on the business Clav is doing with these girls. And if I'm right, that doesn't mean it's some equal partnership. And even knowing what I know, it seems like all of this could be a bit of a stretch. But I just can't think of any other reason why a middle-aged man, who the US government considers to be a dangerous mobster, will be at a party talking one-on-one with a 20-year-old streamer. And sure, getting unbanned from the club, maybe. But why off camera? Everybody knows you're banned, and Clavicular is a guy that wants everything to be content. Like, when someone suggested that he get an STD test, he said he wouldn't do it because he couldn't stream it. So why the secrecy? Also, I found a live stream of High on YouTube, and I'm unsure if this is a birthday party or something else. Any of my Jewish viewers, please help me out here. What is this? Anyway, now even before I became a YouTuber, I was highly suspicious of, well, a lot. Especially when it came to entertainment. But I think people get so deep in these conspiracy theories that they forget about the fact that things like loan sharks and extortion gangs do exist. And that even though I'm insisting a connection between a streamer and an Israeli crime figure, that doesn't mean I'm insisting a connection between Clav and the government of Israel. Like, when the mob in New York or Chicago puts together home invasion squads to extort business owners, it's not to further some shadow government conspiracy, it's just to get money and make sure they never stop getting money. High, like a lot of other mafia affiliates, knows a lot of famous people. And this could be for a couple reasons. Maybe he's just rich and they all end up in the same circles, or he's done business with them before. But one thing I'm sure of is that you should be very cautious around someone as dangerous and connected as this guy. But in the end, is Clav just doing a Jack Doherty money glitch thing, or is there something more? I don't know. But I'm sure the answer will come out one day, but as for now, as usual it seems, I'm left with more questions than answers.
Oh my god, this is hard, bro. They throwing heads. Oh snap. Man, this is fire. I don't see how anything can ruin this experience. I don't know if you knew this, but you're stupid, right? Because everybody that likes soul leveling is stupid. That's just how that works. You know, you're stupid and I'm smart because, you know, you like soul leveling and I don't. So, you know, I'm smart and you're dumb. Yeah. Oh, okay, thanks for telling me. No problem, no problem. You know, I'll just make sure you knew. So, yeah. What's wrong with that dude? All right, man, let's get back to these fights, man. Woo-hoo, my boy Jin Woo going crazy. Hey, King who? Man, come on, man. You ain't the real king, man. My boy Jin Woo is the real king. I don't know if you knew this, but soul leveling doesn't have a complex story. Did you know that? It's like eating fast food. You know, I don't know if you knew that. You know, it's not like fine dining. You know, it's not fine dining, you know, right? But the things that I watch is fine dining, but the things that you watch, you know, like soul leveling, it's, you know, it's fast food. You know, it's like going to McDonald's.
Simple story, and I like it, bro. I like the action, bro. I like everything about it. I don't need to explain myself to you, bro. Shut the fuck up. I'm not dumb just because I like Soul Level.
To translate Neanderthal for me so that you can understand it, so you can understand what I've been saying this entire time, right? So, you ready to translate? Yeah. All right, let's begin. So, did you get that?
Is clavicular signing girls to 360 OF
where the shooting took place, and a police forensic truck sits out front. But no sign of Chief Keef since WGN shot this exclusive video of the rapper being questioned inside the Northfield police station last night.
It's your boy DJ Academic saying, goddamn, that ain't take too long. Restart the first 48 clock, it looks like there's another casualty in Chicago, and this time it's Chief Keef's cousin, known as Blood Money, who was killed in West Englewood, Chicago.
So today, we're going to break down the full history, from the birth of Chicago drill, its golden years, and the present day when it really kind of lies in ruins. And this story will reveal just how a conflict between a few old friends eventually evolved into a full-on gang war between two sets that were once the closest of allies. With all of this leading up to a 2025 double murder of two O-Block veterans. A whole lot of bloodshed that might just trace back to a petty feud between Chief Keef and Lil Durk. This is the story of Front Street and Glow Gang versus OTF and O-Block.
Who gonna get famous?
Here's the video. Growing up on Chicago's South Side, Chief Keef was a popular kid with ties to numerous different gang sets in the area, including Front Street, where he had the strongest family bond, as many of his cousins would belong to that set and his grandmother lived in the area, with Chief Keef spending long stretches of his childhood living with her personally.
Every day, here you come. Can't even cook and eat right. Here y'all come. Here y'all come. I don't know who gonna get famous for this. I don't know who gonna get famous for this. But I know one thing, when they make it, they leave.
However, Chief Keef also had a very strong bond with O-Block, the infamous gang hailing from the Parkway Gardens housing projects where his mother lived, and a gang that Keef would become most associated with after his rap career took off, as he would frequently shout out O-Block the most, even dedicating full songs to the set. But beyond those two, there were also several other sets in the area that Chief Keef even dedicating full songs with after his rap career took off, as he would frequently shout out O-Block the most, even dedicating full songs to the set. But beyond those two, there were also several other sets in the area that Chief Keef would frequently reference in his music and maintained close personal connections to, such as 600, which is located right next to Front Street, No Limit or the NLMB, which is all the way on the east side, and of course Lamron from the Inglewood neighborhood, which is famously Lil Durk's gang. But while Keef was close with Lamron, when it comes to Keef and Durk's personal relationship, it seems like they were never really the closest of friends. Something that becomes obvious from how few times they would actually make cameos in each other's music videos during the come-up, let alone making songs together. Chief Keef would actually be more often seen with one of Durk's closest friends from his Lamron set, the rapper Lil Reese, who would of course famously be also featured in Chief Keef's breakthrough song, I Don't Like. Still, it's safe to say that Durk and Keef were certainly on good terms, with both also showing love to each other's crew that would ultimately become their respective brands and record labels, with Keef repping OTF or Only the Family, and Alliance and music collective started by Lil Durk's Lamron set, while Durk would often show love to Chief Keef's GBE or the Glory Boys Entertainment crew, which at the time included numerous rappers like the already mentioned Lil Reese from Lamron, SD from a set known as Blackgate, Capo from NLMB, Ball Out from Lamron, Trey Savage from a set known as MTV, Gino Marley from Front Street, as well as several cousins of Keef's who all repped Front Street, including Fredo Santana, Tado, Just Glow, and Blood Money. OTF and GBE were so close at this point that for them, these two crews basically meant the same thing, as Durk and Lil Reese would rap in their 2012 song OTF. But then, during the summer of 2013, right as the hype around the Chicago drill movement had reached its peak, there would be a mysterious falling out between Keef and Durk, the real reason for this still being uncertain after all of these years. But what we do know is that back on the 5th of June 2013, just as Lil Durk's career was starting to gain real traction with his hit song This Ain't What You Want, releasing about a month earlier, Durk would run into trouble with the law when he was arrested and charged with unlawful use of a weapon, after police would apparently catch him with a stolen Glock. At the time, Chicago's local media would describe Durk as a rapper associated with Chief Keef, a label that showed just how much bigger Keef's name was back then, with Chief Keef Keef basically being the most popular drill artist by a landslide at that time. But not long after the arrest, media reports revealed that Durk's lawyer had obtained an affidavit from a friend claiming ownership of the gun, a detail that would ultimately help Durk beat his case. At this time, Durk, who was still being referred to as Chief Keef crew rapper by the local NBC Chicago 5 News, was ultimately given a bail of $100,000, which Durk needed to pay 10% of, or $10,000 to get out. As the story goes, although Durk had signed a deal with Def Jam over 1 year before this in April 2012, the money from that deal hadn't come through yet, something Durk's lawyer would claim during a bail hearing. So Durk would apparently go to Chief Keef to ask for the money, but instead of giving it to Durk, Keef would apparently allegedly buy a four-wheeler and later boast about it on social media just to rub it in. Then on the 13th of June, while Durk was still locked up in jail, Chief Keef would suddenly decide to make an odd tweet, informing his fans that he was seemingly not affiliated with OTF anymore, but that he was now repping OTG, or Only the Glow, a reference to his Glory Boys entertainment group, and low-key a little bit of a sneak diss towards Durk's OTF. The following day, after Chief Keef's questionable tweet, it was reported that Durk would finally post his bail on June the 19th, but it would still end up taking about a month before he was actually released. Durk would announce being back home on Twitter with a peculiar line, telling how he was back while asking if you missed him or if you didn't care. This line actually being lifted from Chief Keef's First Day Out song that he had dropped after being released from juvie himself back in March 2013. In that context, it definitely makes the tweet from Durk look like a subtle diss towards Keef. But following Lil Durk's release, Chief Keef would also keep throwing shade at Lil Durk's OTF crew, eventually causing OTF members to respond with some very harsh words. As Durk's OTF affiliate, Chief Wook, would begin posting explicit disses towards Keef on Twitter, accusing him of not being a stand-up friend and failing to help someone who needed bail money, despite having just signed a $6 million record deal. However, when Lil Durk was later asked in an interview why no one bailed him out, including French Montana, whose Coke Boys imprint Durk was repping at the time, Durk would respond that money wasn't the issue and that he could have bailed himself out, but because he was facing a parole violation, he wasn't eligible for release until the end of July.
Wants to know how come French didn't bail you out?
For one, I could bail myself out.
Right.
And for two, he could bail me out too. But at the same time, I had a violation of parole, so I couldn't bond out till the day I got out.
But that may well have just been Durk trying to save face, as he would soon join in the disrespect towards Chief Keef's crew, with Durk retweeting his friends' posts and making his own stance clear, saying that he was still in the hood rather than living in the wealthy suburbs outside of Chicago like Keef was, as well as directly stating how it was now FGBE dissing Keef's crew. Chief Keef would respond by not mentioning Durk or OTF directly, instead posting more subliminal disses, saying certain people were making him laugh, while seemingly telling Durk that he still had love for him, but then later implying that Durk was messing with his ops, likely referring to Durk making music with the Migos, who Keef was beefing with heavily at this time. Keef would also seemingly imply that the only reason Durk had gotten signed to Def Jam was because of him, a tweet that he would apparently later delete, while Durk's far more spooky reply actually still remains online, where he would suggest that Chief Keef would have been killed if it wasn't for 300, another alliance of gangs started by Little Durk's Lamron set. Keef would eventually end the exchange by declaring that on O.D. Perry's grave, the fallen O-Block member that gang is named after, he was done engaging in any further online beef. Keef's tweet would reveal that at this point, he was still very much tied in with the other sets that he was close with, particularly O-Block. In fact, on June the 10th, 3 days before Keef announced that he was seemingly not repping OTF anymore, his friend from O-Block, an older member called Boss Top, would release his first music video for a song titled 30 Choppers, which ironically featured none other than Lil Durk. Keef can be seen walking through O-Block, something that had already become rare at this point, as Chicago police had reportedly banned him from returning to his old neighborhood due to his fame and the chaos that his presence would attract. And while Boss Top had just done a song with Durk, even after Keef would have a falling out with Durk, he would keep shouting out Boss Top on his Twitter, while announcing that he was repping nothing else other than O-Block and how he has a squad full of killers, before throwing more shade at Durk, saying how he used to be a brick, a derogatory term for a GD, or gangster disciple, as Durk's father was a notorious GD who had allegedly worked directly under its founder, Larry Hoover. But Durk's OTF crew generally identify as BD or Black Disciple like the rest of the O-Block gang. But anyway, from here, Durk would fire back with disses of his own, even mocking Keef for allegedly breaking down in court in January 2013 when he was sentenced to 60 days in juvenile detention. Meanwhile, Chief Keef would continue to promote the music of Boss Top, dropping a trailer for their upcoming collaboration, a song and music video titled Gunja. By August, it appeared that the tension between Chief Keef and Lil Durk had temporarily cooled off, at least according to Durk, who would downplay the situation during an interview with Sway's Universe, saying it had been nothing more than just some words.
A lot of people have been tweeting me to ask you about your relationship with Chief Keef because of things that have been going back and forth. What is the status of that right now?
It was just a little bit of words. It ain't nothing major though.
Yeah, ain't nothing major?
Nah, ain't nothing major.
It ain't nothing that's gonna grow or...
Nah.
Have y'all communicated since then? Have y'all...
yeah, we had a little few words to beat on some, man. We cooling right now, so...
Yeah.
So I respected that. We respect each other. We got love for each other, so... You know how that Twitter is. You know Twitter gonna take everything the wrong way.
Ain't Twitter a trip?
But unfortunately, Chief Keef would keep tweeting subliminal jabs, like trolling Dirk with a 4-wheeler purchase, as well as announcing that he was still affiliated with several Black Disciple sets and alliances, besides O-Block, including Blackgate, 300, and 600, but notably leaving OTF out of his list. Dirk, on the other hand, would seemingly respond to Keef by throwing his own subliminals, as he would tweet how he was all about the bike life, not 4-wheelers. But fortunately, the feud between Keef and Dirk would remain confined to the internet, and it may have even benefited both of their careers, particularly Lil Durk's, who at the time was still a far less established artist than Chief Keef. But things were about to take a darker turn for Keef, as the following month a tragedy occurred that allegedly led to a fallout between him and his own set of O-Block. On the 2nd of September 2013, one of the most respected members of O-Block, and you could even say one of their unofficial leaders, a member called J Money or J Munna, real name Jerome Wood, was fatally shot in the Woodlawn neighborhood, allegedly backdoored by a woman and killed by a member of the rival STL EBT set. The loss of J Money was a huge blow to O-Block, and they would begin to call their set GBMG, or Glowboys Munna Gang, in his honor. J Money had also been close with Chief Keef personally, and could often be seen repping his Glory Boys merch. However, after J Money's death, it wasn't Chief Keef who was paying homage, but it was actually Lil Durk, who would make numerous posts about J Money, whereas Chief Keef would seemingly be strangely quiet about the matter, perhaps too busy touring the country with his friends from the Glory Boys crew. Apparently, Chief Keef wouldn't even show up at J Money's funeral, which was packed with a large crowd, including Lil Durk himself, who was photographed there wearing an RIP J Money shirt. This being despite indications that Chief Keef might have been back in Chicago at the time of the funeral. So this was a bad look, but I think you got to give Chief Keef some grace here. After all, at this point he was already a national and international superstar, and him showing up to an already packed funeral in the middle of the hood would have likely caused major chaos, not to mention a security concern, especially given how many funerals are already commonly shot up in Chicago those days. Nevertheless, some believe that this actually marked the beginning of the end for Chief Keef's relationship with O-Block, as members in his old circle begun to feel he wasn't paying enough attention to them after his rise to fame, with Boss Top making a wild tweet atting Chief Keef and saying that he knows he saw his text and that he's going to get his girl pregnant as revenge. Following this, O-Block would now become much more tied in with Lil Durk and OTF, as Durk remained much more locked in with his old street circles despite his rising profile in the rap game. This shift in friendships and alliances would come to a head in 2014 when another alleged dispute over bail money surfaced, this time having deadly consequences. Heading into 2014, Chief Keef would officially change his crew and label name to Glow Gang, and the former GBE or Glory Boys Entertainment would stop existing. This would also cause some changes in the crew's composition, as Chief Keef's cousin Fredo Santana would go on to start his own record label called Savage Squad Records, joined by guys like Gino Marley, while Keef would also eventually have a falling out with his friend SD. But despite the change of name and the lineup of the crew, it was obvious that the beef between Durk's OTF and Chief Keef's Glow Gang was still simmering, and in January of 2014, Glow Gang member Ball Out reignited tensions in a major way by posting a diss aimed at Lil Durk and OTF on Facebook, calling the whole crew. Meanwhile, the friendship between Glow Gang and O-Block was still going strong, at least on the surface, but deep down, cracks begun to show. One example is a story told by Tay Capone from the 600 set, who would often go to Chief Keef's mansion around this time, joined by members from other sets like O-Block. During one of these trips, he reportedly witnessed tension forming between O-Block member Boss Top and Chief Keef's cousin Blood Money, as according to Tay, Blood Money had lent Boss Top a watch, which Boss Top allegedly tried to keep for himself.
Blood Money had let Top see a watch, folks. This when we all dirty. This was Sosa and them first getting on. We first going up north to folks' crib. Man, Blood Money to let folks wear his watch on BD. Like, let folks wear a watch to do whatever. I don't know, folks, on BD. On Steve. Folks, get on them. I know, no, we pull up the folks' crib. We in a Vino. Folks used to be picking us up in these, like, big black van on King David. We in a Vino, folks. We pull up to we in the driveway. All the guys getting out. I'm like the last one, before the last. Top the last one. I'm finna get out, folks. So Blood Money already out. He didn't ride with us. He pulling up in his own traffic, folks. On Steve Gray. He pull up, he see Top in a van. Top don't even get a chance to get out. I didn't even get a chance to get out yet. Folks walk clean up to the van. Peek in a van door. He slapped the door like, hey, folks, where my watch at? I swear to God, I'm gonna be 100 with y'all. Top seen Blood pull up, folks. He had the watch on. He tell me, like, folks, he take the watch off, put it in his pocket on my son's life. He take it off, put it in his pocket. He take the watch out, put it in his pocket on my son's life. I could drop dead right now. He put it in his pocket. Right before Blood walk up to the Vino on Steve. Blood walk right up to the Vino. What my watch? Woo. Folks, mercy, man. Oh, I left that. I'm just like, I didn't never say nothing. I'm listening to the dialogue, folks, and I'm just so hurt and shocked in my head. Like, my head getting up, folks, cause I just seen you take this off and slide it in your pocket, and you just said, "Oh, he finna walk up talking about this watch." And on folk grade, like, you real loud, like, just mercy, you ain't had this man watch, and you had it on folk grade. Like, I'm damn, holy shit, real.
According to Tay, this rift would eventually be solved and the two would go back to being cool, but coming into March, things would suddenly go all the way left, as Chief Keef's childhood friends from O-Block would suddenly join in on dissing him on social media. On March the 25th, Boss Top would make several ominous tweets saying how someone was no longer part of the gang, as well as telling them to pick a side, and announcing that O-Block, the real O-Block as he would specify, would get into it with anyone. This tweet interestingly getting an approval from both Lil Durk and a young King Von, who had been a close friend of Chief Keef's since a very young age. And Keef would still post Von numerous times on his social media, even after blowing up as a rapper in 2012. Although it seemed that as time passed, Keef had less and less time for many of his old friends from O-Block, including Von, who would often keep tweeting at Keef without a response. According to later rumors, the real breaking point between O-Block and Keef came when an O-Block member known as Trey 5 was locked up, and once again, Keef's money was allegedly expected to cover the bail. However, as 600 member Tay Capone would later explain, Keef allegedly kept promising to send the money, but never followed through. And eventually the O-Block members grew so frustrated that they decided to teach him a lesson.
They came to him about bonding out 5. They came to him about bonding out one of the guys, and Sosa was like, you know, he not spinning them, but he just telling them like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? We gon', you know, Trey 5 was a nigga from O Block. He was fighting a charge. He had bond. I think his bond was like 10K, 7,500 or something they was trying to get from So. And Sosa had been, I guess, to them, spinning them about that. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever bond money or whatever they was gonna do for 5, they wanted from Sosa. They felt like Sosa was spinning them. So they felt like they gave him enough time to act on what the situation or whatever. And then once they felt like he was just gonna keep spinning them or lying to him, they felt like they had enough time where they felt like they had enough aggression built up from the situation to just act. You know.
Sometime during the late night and early morning following Boss Top's ominous tweets, there would be a shooting at Chief Keef's manager's house, which would leave one person injured.
So Chief Keef got mixed up in a shooting near Chicago, and his Instagram account does not help him at all. Hey, this is Gary. So, Chief Keef got caught up in a shooting near his home in Chicago. Now, we're told by Chief's people that he was not the shooter. He definitely was not the victim. He wasn't involved. They're just saying that he was present at the time. But the police out there are issuing a press release in relation to Chief being there during the shooting. We do know that one victim has been taken to the hospital right now. There has been no arrest made or anything. But Chief Keef is not doing the best job social media-wise for his innocence in anything, because 2 days before the shooting, this is on Monday, he Instagrams all these photos of himself holding up guns. It looks like he's got some sort of an Uzi. His buddy's holding an AK-47. He got a little stash of guns and money. The caption read, "Another situation already." So it looks like he was like, you know, getting ready for war, even though as of now he's not a suspect or listed in anything.
Local WGN News reported that Keef had been present during the incident but was not the shooter. The outlet also aired exclusive footage from inside the police station that showed Chief Keef being questioned by officers, while a reporter would specify that according to Keef's lawyer, Keef had been in the car that drove the shooting victim to a hospital, implying that it had been one of his friends.
Crime scene tape still surrounds the palatial home where the shooting took place, and a police forensic truck sits out front. But no sign of Chief Keef since WGN shot this exclusive video of the rapper being questioned inside the Northfield police station last night. At one point, it even appeared as though he was being frisked by an officer.
It was inevitable, we felt, because of the nature of things going on.
Andy and Mary Lindblad live next door to the home that was being rented by Chief Keef's manager. The Lindblads say they heard a lot of commotion coming from the home as late as 10 or 11 o'clock the night before.
It's a lot of door slamming and, you know, the lights moving around the parking area and that.
Northville police say someone was shot in the home in the 800 block of North Hap Road and was driven to Skokie Hospital. Keef's lawyer tells the Chicago Tribune he was a passenger in that vehicle, but she says she doesn't know the circumstances surrounding the shooting.
Later on, police reports posted on Reddit would give more clarity to what happened, with one memo describing how there'd been an internal conflict within the Black Disciples, namely the O-Block set. This memo also included pictures of 3 persons of interest: Tyree Davis, aka Boss Top, DeMarcus Sargent, and Charles Liggins, aka C Murder, who would years later be one of the people convicted for the murder of GD rapper FBG Duck. Other incident reports would give even more information, stating that in the late night of the 25th of March, an unknown number of offenders entered the house with guns drawn and took at least a cell phone, a gold chain, and a car before fleeing the scene. These reports would also mention how there was a victim who was actively talking to the police and giving them information, while everyone else was seemingly not interested in cooperating at all. This person likely being Chief Keef's then assistant, called Twin City CEO, real name Brandon Zera, who Keef would actually attack on Twitter afterwards, calling him soft, with Keef's friend Lil Reese agreeing. Keef would also immediately deny any rumors that he had gotten shot personally during the incident. But meanwhile, during the night of the robbery, King Von remained very active on Twitter, firing off a series of posts that in hindsight may well have been a coded confession. He would tweet that every day they front and then act like they didn't front, asking how they expect him to deal with them, and another mysterious tweet saying simply, "Where were you?" As he kept posting, it would become increasingly obvious what he was talking about, with demon and gunshot emojis posted soon after, as Von would state how people don't want beef with his friends because they're savages who have real bodies on their guns, and swearing that on O, as well as saying how he had a feeling that Trey 5 was now coming home, followed by a bunch of demon emojis, before also shockingly adding that he had been GBEK or GBE Killer, implying that he wanted to or had been trying to kill people from the Glory Boys for a while. Boss Top would also add how people weren't really your friends, seemingly referring to Keef's unwillingness to help with Trey 5's bail money, and the following day he would continue the dissing, calling out fake rappers pretending to be real and claiming they're not really about that, and emphasizing how in his friendship circle everyone knew their role and nobody was trying to act bigger than the others. Chief Keef, on the other hand, would reply how people forget the times when you said yes, but will always remember when you said no, and that all he had done was help people, but in return, all he got was hate, showing that deep down Keef was clearly hurt that he had been betrayed by his childhood friends. But Keef may not have realized just how far some of his childhood friends were willing to go to hurt him, because the very next month, one of his family members would be killed. And if the rumors are true, this murder would eventually be linked to some of O-Block's most feared shooters, and two of Chief Keef's former friends, King Von and T. Roy. In 2014, a person affiliated with Chief Keef's Glow Gang crew would begin to get some major push for his career, this being Chief Keef's cousin, known as Blood Money or Big Glow, real name Mario Hess. In March 2014, Blood Money would get an important boost for his career as he featured on Keef's comeback single F Rehab, which he would release after literally completing a court-ordered rehab in California. After this, Blood Money reportedly signed a major deal in Los Angeles, likely as an artist under Chief Keef's Glow Gang imprint, which operated under Interscope, and following the signing, he returned to Chicago to spend some well-earned time with his family. But then, on the 9th of April 2014, at around 9:30 p.m, Blood Money was outside with his cousin on the 5600 block of South Elizabeth Street on the west side of Chicago, when someone would open fire on them, injuring the cousin and killing Blood Money. The killing was covered by DJ Academics in his War in Chiraq series, presented in the provocative style that made him infamous in Chicago.
His manager said his signing bonus was $50,000, which he spent on his family, bills, and a car. And his manager claimed that he could see this coming. He said, I spoke to him 2 days ago and I could sense something wasn't right. Whenever you get money in Chicago, start looking. Other don't have money and are broke, and Blood Money was flashing 10 grand and other are looking to stick him up. Well, duh, if you are in Chicago of all places and you're flashing money around a broke bunch of yes, they will try to rob you. At this point, I'm wondering who's writing the script for Chicago's version of The Wire. I mean, it's getting all too real. I mean, who's Omar that's taking all these damn bodies? Who's Marlo and who is Avon? You look like everybody's either shooters or muscles. Nobody moving weight. Everybody's either a Weebay or Chris or a Snoop or a Slim Charles. Everybody's just doing goon.
Later on, there would be all kinds of theories about exactly who was behind this murder. One of the popular suspects was a set known as MOB, known for rappers like FBG Duck's good friend Ruger. This theory seemed to be supported by the fact that after Blood Money's death, Chief Keef would record a song titled Can't Wait, where he would rep the Front Street set heavily before dissing MOB and their dead member named Junebug. This is noteworthy because while Keef would popularize the trend in drill of dissing dead ops, often by mentioning things like Smoking Tuka, the dead 15-year-old from the STL EBT set, Chief Keef would actually quite rarely diss dead people by name other than Tuka, indicating that there was clearly something about MOB at this point in time that had really set him off. However, another theory that circulated would claim that Blood Money had actually been backdoored by a longtime friend, supposedly over an argument about money, a version of events that came up in comments his family made to local news outlets about jealousy being behind the murder.
This morning, police are still looking for the suspect who opened fire on Mario Hess, also known in the hip-hop community as Blood Money. His family says he just received a pretty large sum of money, and they believe that made him a target. Around 9:30 last night, relatives say Mario Hess was standing outside of his aunt's home on the 5600 block of South Elizabeth when a man approached and opened fire, hitting Hess at least 10 times in the stomach. Another man, a 28-year-old family member, was shot in the chest. No word on his condition this morning. Hess was driven by his family to Stroger Hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
I was telling them just a couple of days ago, like, man, you got to watch the people that you bring in. Because I started seeing, like, new faces and stuff like that, you know. And when people think you got a little money, then you become a target.
Well, according to his manager, he just signed a record deal by Interscope Records about 2 weeks ago, and he was excited about releasing an album. He collaborated with his cousin, rapper Chief Keef, on some project and was about to drive to a recording studio to work on some music before he was shot.
However, early on, there were also some signs that Blood Money's death could be connected to Chief Keef's beef with his old friends from O-Block. Because while Boss Top would seemingly provide an indirect tribute to Blood Money following his passing, there would also interestingly be a party at O-Block the very next night following the murder, which guys like King Von would promote on Twitter, with one O-Block affiliate interestingly specifying how this was about the real O-Block, much like Boss Top had mentioned before when beefing with Chief Keef. King Von would also make some other highly suspect tweets in the following days, like one simply saying how the truth gonna hurt you, and another saying how people wouldn't even believe the things that he does, so he's not gonna tell them. He would also post his old mugshot, together with a caption saying how they should have never let him out because they had freed a menace, as well as referencing Dirk's OTF crew, saying how it was only the family in his eyes and people can't divide them, which certainly seemed like another sneak diss towards Keef. During this period, Boss Top would also publicly praise Von as a savage and turn up, adding the hashtag StretchGang, which was another alias for O-Block, although it also doubled as street slang for stretching your ops or killing them. Chief Keef, on the other hand, would pay tribute to his cousin by starting a new name for his crew, the Blood Gang, which would eventually be adopted by members of Front Street, the hood that Blood Money was from, who would also begin to call their set the Blood Gang too. Keef would also interestingly tweet, "We are Front Street," before adding, "and Real 300, this being an obvious diss towards Lil Durk and his Lamron set that had been the inventors of the 300 nickname. He would also throw shade at his old friends from O-Block by tweeting how he'd been trying to show his friends how to live and become rich, but his friends were just too jealous and in their feelings to learn from him. Meanwhile, King Von would keep making some suspicious tweets, which seemed to be subliminal messages straight to Chief Keef, or Sosa as he's also known by. The most ominous tweet including Blood Money's lyrics from his song F Rehab with Keef, a move that many interpreted as a subliminal diss aimed at Chief Keef and Blood Money. Particularly as Von would openly recognize that he was now beefing with Glow Gang, replying laughing emojis to people claiming that GBE would hurt him. And this wouldn't be the only time that Von appeared to post subliminal shots, because only a week later he would tweet how fame changes people, but real ones stay the same, adding that he could never switch on his guys. He then added RIP Big Glow, aka Blood Money, a tribute that in this context stood out as less likely to be sincere and yet another veiled diss. But if that wasn't questionable enough, a few days later Von would shout out Boss Top, the person who had arguably started the beef between Chief Keef and O-Block, before literally saying in the hashtag how he was killing people for him. All these tweets were clearly suspicious and seemed to point towards O-Block and King Von personally having something to do with Blood Money's murder. But the real bombshell would come years later, when the former O-Block member J Hood would claim during an interview with Fuchsia's TV that King Von and T Roy were without a doubt the people responsible for killing Blood Money. He would also interestingly describe them as followers, implying that the hit may have been carried out on someone else's order, a suggestion that many interpreted as pointing towards Boss Top.
What about Blood Money, bro? Did you know Blood Money?
I used to see Big Blood around when I used to slide to the front.
Yeah. I mean, with his situation, with him being killed and shit, people say it was KI. Why you think people was hating on Blood Money?
Man, look, see, I'm gonna keep it straight funky. That shit was straight back though. You don't gotta believe it. You can hear whatever. Oh, these people saw this. I don't give a fuck what y'all heard. I ain't out here seeing talking on my ass like these dudes, bro. Folks them killed T-Roy and Von killed that. No matter what the fuck else. And look, I might be saying it in a harsh way, but I'm no way in no form of fashion trying to be disrespectful to Blood. Rest in peace to Big Gang. Was backdooring. That's why I'm speaking out on this. I don't want nothing. Front Street know what's up. They know that it's been some going on for years
but
now.
T-Roy and Chief Keef was cool. Why would T-Roy kill Chief Keef's cousin though?
We can't even get to all the main logistics of it, but we just gonna say his followers. T-Roy and Von was who they was, but that don't mean that them listen to people. Like if the followers, that's all it ever be. They was followers. T-Roy and Von was followers. Who they follow, I don't know. Y'all answer that yourself.
J Hood is definitely someone who was at least in a position to know information like this, as he used to be with King Von and T-Roy all the time back when this murder happened. But in online spaces like Reddit, this claim has split people in the middle, with some convinced that they were indeed behind the hit, while others are absolutely convinced that this is nothing more than just a conspiracy theory, pointing out how Blood Money's own family have claimed that his killer was already dead back in 2015. But even if the real killer may forever remain unknown, the feud between Chief Keef, O-Block, and Lil Durk's OTF continued to escalate online even after Chief Keef would make the smartest decision of his life and move away from Chicago. One of the key figures in the beef remained King Von, who continued his conflicted messages by blending what seemed to be moments of admiration for Chief Keef along with outright disses. For example, he would often post lyrics to Chief Keef's songs, making it seem like he was an actual fan of the music, while at the same time posting explicit disses like pointing out that Boss Top had taken Keef's chain, while a member named OJ from Lil Durk's Lamron set had allegedly taken a chain from Keef's Glow Gang associate Capo, and saying that now Von was also going to take a chain from someone associated with Keef. And yet only a few hours later, Von was back on Twitter, this time saying that even though things weren't right, he still wasn't going to speak badly about Keef, a comment that seemed to reference their long-standing childhood friendship. But with Von, it was impossible to know how much of what he said was meant sincerely and what was just trolling. A few days later, on the 10th of June, news media would report how Keef had been evicted from his Highland Park mansion in the northern suburbs of Chicago over unpaid rent. This brought an end to his time in Chicago, as he would ultimately decide to leave the city behind for good, relocating to Los Angeles, where TMZ would actually catch him to ask him about the recent eviction. Something that Keef would give a prophetic answer to, saying that one day he was going to behave like a grown-up and stop being bad.
They say you owe like $11,000 in rent.
I don't know what they talking about.
your landlord.
I don't know if I owe or not. Shit,
What's
don't
that?
ask me. I don't know.
you don't keep track like.
I don't give a f neither.
Oh, you don't care. Like
no,
so why'd they evict you, bro? Like why?
They say they don't want me around. They don't want me in the neighborhood, man. I'm too bad. I guess I'm a bad little young boy. I gotta grow.
You're a bad influence. Like what was? Did you have a
One
fight?
day it's gonna be okay. One day I'm gonna be a grown man.
You are a grown man.
No I'm a grown man, but one day I'm gonna be growner than this, and I ain't gonna be bad no more. I ain't gonna be a bad little.
Meanwhile, members of Lil Durk's Lamron set would send a message to Keef that if he ever came back to Chicago, he would get robbed again.
We catch Sosa and ball out, we rob y'all. Y'all better not come back. You can't tell them. Y'all talking about they ain't got no. Rob them. I want they change. Well, they change, fake, folks.
But while Chief Keef was now out of Chicago and harm's way, he would keep engaging in beef with his old friends from O-Block, as well as with Lil Durk, who would let his stance be known in his June 2014 song, 0 to 300, where Durk rapped how he had heard a rapper close to him had gotten their chain stolen and that they're trying to pay his friend Boss Top to get it back, this being an obvious diss towards Keef. Boss Top himself, on the other hand, would keep taunting Keef on social media by tweeting how he was now called Chief Top and that he had taken the Chief name from Keef. Keef would respond only minutes later, calling Boss Top his ex-adopted son and saying that he needed to stop talking to his pops disrespectfully, implying that he was his dad, before firing off several more tweets where he would essentially call Boss Top broke, and Chief would then decide to go all in, listing all of the items that his old friends had allegedly stolen from him, this list being incredibly long, including everything from Chief Keef's daughter's clothes to designer drip and jewelry. These tweets caused DJ Academics to hilariously popularize a new nickname for Boss Top, the Diaper Bandit.
If a is stealing deodorant and detergent, he goddamn well needs it. I mean, listen, once is on the prowl for Similac, diapers, hygiene products, you can't be on a song claiming since you were young and you've been a No, it doesn't work like that. No, time out. No, that's not how it works here. That person you just heard speak was Boss Top. Now, some people call him the Diaper Bandit and some even call him Baroque Top.
Now, the label stuck, and even years later, fans would
and some even call him just heard speak was Boss Top. Now, some people call him the Diaper Bandit and some even call him Baroque Top.
Now, the label stuck, and even years later, fans would still be arguing over whether Boss Top had really stolen diapers from Keef, with some even pulling up the police reports in an attempt to prove that no diapers were actually ever taken. Keef would also respond on Wax in a song titled 0 to 250, a play on Durk's 0 to 300 song, where he would diss Durk by questioning the name Only the Family, or OTF, by noting how Durk and O-Block had crossed him, even though he had been part of the crew and family, while also adding that he still had OTF tatted on him, but he was now just Glow Gang. Chief Keef would also diss Boss Top once again, bringing up the fact that he had allegedly stolen his daughter's clothes, and the back and forth would continue in July when Keef would once again go in on Boss Top, this time calling him by his government name while claiming that the home invasion had happened when Chief Keef had been in court, even posting pictures on Instagram of the stuff that Boss Top had allegedly stolen from him. Boss Top would later respond to this, claiming that not only had Keef been present when the robbery had taken place, but also several other big names in drill were allegedly there too, like Lil Reese, Herb aka G Herbo, as well as other Glow Gang members like Tato and Capo.
So I broke in your crib. Herb was there. Reese was there, Cap was there, Sosa was there, Tato was there. I gotta keep going.
But just when it looked like the situation was about to get out of control again, suddenly in August, Lil Durk would announce that the beef between his OTF crew and Chief Keef's GBE or Glow Gang had actually been settled for good. This unexpected truce was quickly followed by DJ Akademiks' sarcastic commentary.
It's your boy DJ Akademiks, and now we can finally start up the campfire. Let's roast some marshmallows, let's hold hands and have a whole dread twisting fest. Not only that, we could probably start singing Kumbaya because the demons, the savages, and the scums, they have finally all reunited. Now, these are the names that they call themselves, so this is no me saying something bad about them. But the top factions in Chiraq, the executive goons of Chiraq, they have declared a truce. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about OTF GBE 300. They have announced that all the shall cease, and from now on they will be having a truce, so no more sneak dissing will be occurring.
The allegedly repaired friendship would even lead Chief Keef and Lil Durk to actually go back to making music together, as Durk would also tell DJ Vlad in 2015, while emphasizing that the beef between them had never been more than just some words online.
You and Chief Keef seem to be cool now.
Yeah, we cool. We better than what we was.
Number one, it didn't seem like it was all that serious. Because I remember when I ran into you, I think like at the Grammys last year, it was like they didn't want to let you in the party, and you know, because Chief Keef and them were there, and you were like, ain't nothing was going to happen. It wasn't a big deal. Like that was how me and you were talking.
Yeah. People looking at it like, oh, if they bump heads, this was going to happen, this was going to happen. No, it ain't never nothing violent anyway. You know what I'm saying? All the arguments we had on Twitter and all that, it go when you mad, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody really finna do nothing to each other.
So how did y'all finally like really squash it and kind of like put it all to rest?
FaceTime, I FaceTime him, FaceTime me, you know what I'm saying? We talked it out. I had a grudge, he had a grudge, you know what I'm saying? We killed it, put it in the middle of the floor. It's over with now.
However, while Chief Keef and Lil Durk weren't anymore beefing openly, there were signs that they weren't necessarily the best pals either. For example, in 2017, Blood Money's posthumous mixtape Drug Wars 2 was released, which also included the song Glow Gang Killers, a song that had obviously been recorded years ago, but it included some of the most open and aggressive disses towards Lil Durk that anyone from Glow Gang had ever put out, with Blood Money literally threatening to kill Durk while also threatening to kill the mother of his first child. So putting that song as part of an official project out publicly would show that the people around Glow Gang still weren't afraid to keep broadcasting the resentment that Blood Money had towards Lil Durk and OTF. But when it came to O-Block, on the other hand, Chief Keef appeared unable to move past the betrayal, and he and his Glow Gang partners would keep dissing O-Block members like Boss Top on social media.
Boys, man. Man, it's the kid, man. You know, man, how I'm rocking and rolling, man. You know, man, I feel like young. Boss Top, you got dropped by Sosa. T-Boy Sosa used to be your daddy. How you gonna talk to your pops like that, boy?
A few years later in 2018, when King Von was released from jail after beating his infamous murder case, he would famously become heavily affiliated with Lil Durk's OTF imprint, and Von's presence would cause OTF to become closer with O-Block than ever before, with Durk taking numerous rappers from the set under his wing, Boss Top being one of them. Meanwhile, after Von's own rap career took off, he would still keep mentioning Chief Keef on social media, and just like before, it was often hard to tell if he was being genuine and actually trying to repair the relationship, or if he was simply just trolling. For example, in February 2019, Von would tweet a picture of himself wiping his nose, together with O-Block member Mona Duke, who was doing the same, and O-Block Louis, while tagging Chief Keef in the post. But the post was also accompanied by the song Kill Some by rapper I Am Sip, where Von has a feature verse, and it included a section where Von raps some peculiar lines about revoking someone's membership in O-Block. On another occasion in March 2020, Von would tweet a video of himself showing off his new O-Block chain, together with the caption O-Block Bang Bang, a phrase made famous by Chief Keef, once again tagging Keef in the post. Something that once again could be taken as Von showing respect to Keef, or Von taunting Keef about essentially being thrown out of his old gang and the murder of his cousin by the same set. Around the same time, Von and Dirk would release a song titled Evil Twins, where Von would include some telling lyrics, rapping how his friend thinks he killed his cousin, before adding, well, oh well, with many fans considering this line to be a reference to Chief Keef really thinking that Von had killed Blood Money. Von would also recap during one of his Instagram lives the reason why Boss Top and other O-Block members ended up robbing Keef, essentially accusing Keef of acting big-headed towards his old friends.
Like say we call him, they gonna give it to him, right? So we say our homie booked his bond 25,000. We got 18,000. Ooh, we need 75 more hundred, right? So the said he said, oh yeah, that's all y'all need. Ooh, I just spent that on shoes. Ooh, we right. Why you say it like that though? Now we call him again like a week later or something. Then what's up with that money, gang? Like, oh, you know, we trying to get folks out. Vaughn. Yeah, how much y'all need? We need 7,500. Ooh, that is a minute ago. So now I get that. Folks get that. What do you say? Yeah, here 7,500. I just do that in the club and shit. Ooh. So more see folks, more take folks' chain off his neck. Folks, to go get the bomb money. Like my fan, I don't know what the clothes man. Like other came from. Like you know that's just how people like what clout and try to make other people seem bogus and shit, whatever. What? But it's really over some real shit and be out like a real.
These would seem like subtle and not so subtle jabs at Keef, but on other occasions Von would post what seemed to be very genuine shout-outs to Keef, which would make it seem like the two had actually put the past behind them and were now back to being cool. Surprisingly, King Von and Chief Keef would even be seen together at a studio session sometime in late 2018 or early 2019, a legendary session where they were also accompanied by other hip-hop heavyweights like YNW Melly, Kanye West, and Timbaland. Although Keef would look somewhat awkward around Von, it's not clear if Keef even knew that Von was going to be at that session.
Oh boy. So look, bitch. All that.
But in late 2019, when a fan asked Von if he planned on would claim that they had already recorded an entire mixtape together. However, none of those tracks have ever surfaced, casting doubt on how real that project ever was, or if this was just yet more trolling. But while the truth of Chief Keef and King Von's relationship around this time remains unclear, one thing does stand out, because ever since Von's death in November 2020, Chief Keef has never publicly paid tribute to him, despite them seemingly being so close throughout their childhoods. Sometimes, the silence speaks louder than words, because back in the streets of Chicago, a new war was brewing, as tensions grew between the two sets that Keef had arguably been closest with while growing up, O Block and Front Street, and these tensions would eventually lead to an all-out war. According to online rumors, the roots of the fallout between O Block and Front Street trace all the way back to 2017, when an 11-year-old girl named Takia Holmes was tragically killed by a stray bullet. According to online theories, the shooting happened while O Block members were shooting a music video when individuals from a rival set known as Taekwon World allegedly arrived at the scene and opened fire. This caused an O Block member to allegedly return fire, and in the exchange, Takia was tragically struck. That same O Block member would later allegedly cooperate with the authorities against another member of the set, resulting in him being cast out of the set and later being fully embraced by Front Street, where he had family connections. Now, whether this rumor is true is uncertain, but eventually the tensions would become obvious, as the younger generation of O Block, particularly a member named Big Woney, would attack Front Street on Facebook, claiming that they were broke and snitches. In the comment section, an argument broke out between O Block members and Blood Money's son, Lil Blood, suggesting that there were numerous reasons behind the new beef between O Block and Front Street, including disputes over women. Woney would be seen dissing Blood Money on socials and saying that they sip a lot of blood and shoot up a lot of clubs, even taking this diss into his music too, which would back up rumors that O Block had been behind the murder of Blood Money, and that the rumors about their involvement may have also contributed to the growing tensions between these two sets. From here, the beef between these two former friends would get worse, especially for the newer generation carrying the torch.
Ain't no, the Front Street. What the fuck is the Front Street? I know Front Street gonna be front line. I'm saying right, cause we be sipping on blood while we on the front line. On BD. It says. They stink. Hey, the stink.
Pull up, Jado. Now what? Pull up. Pull up.
What you say? What you say, fool? Oh, blood, you know that.
During one recorded phone call, Front Street members would even admit that they had shot the O Block youngster Big Woney, who would fortunately end up surviving.
Yeah, I did something to Front Street.
Oh my God, gang, I'm finna get off this shit. Wani, on Jado, you did something else since we've been in tour with y'all.
Y'all been tour with us since I've been in jail, gang.
You lying, gang. We got in tour with you and your fat ass got shot. You went to jail like 2 years later.
Why you try to lie and say that ain't happened too?
Kick him out.
And there have also been some rumors that members from both camps were killed as part of the feud as early as the 2020s, but to this day, these murders aren't confirmed to be as part of the war. In the middle of this escalating beef, a song from Chief Keef would be leaked online, which many took as a diss aimed at O Block members like Boss Top and King Von. As Keef had mentioned someone who had gotten punched in the face by his cousin and choked by his cousin, these both being possible references to Boss Top and his fight with Blood Money over the stolen watch. Keef would also add how he hopes that someone dies out of town like their bro, which seemed to be an obvious reference to how King Von had lost his life in Atlanta. Interestingly, around the same time, Keef would also begin dating King Von's sister, Kayla B, who would end up arguing over these lyrics with fans who were claiming that Keef was dissing her brother, which Kayla would deny. But whether Chief Keef was dissing King Von or not, his decision to pursue Von's sister, despite likely having countless other options, would end up interestingly around the same time one who had gotten these.
Why you try to lie and say that ain't happened too?
Kick him out.
And there have also been some rumors that members from both camps were killed as part of the feud as early as the 2020s, but to this day, these murders aren't confirmed to be as part of the war. In the middle of this escalating beef, a song from Chief Keef would be leaked online, which many took as a diss aimed at O Block members like Boss Top and King Von. As Keef had mentioned someone who had gotten punched in the face by his cousin and choked by his cousin, these both being possible references to Boss Top and his fight with Blood Money over the stolen watch. Keef would also add how he hopes that someone dies out of town like their bro, which seemed to be an obvious reference to how King Von had lost his life in Atlanta. Interestingly, around the same time, Keef would also begin dating King Von's sister, Kayla B, who would end up arguing over these lyrics with fans who were claiming that Keef was dissing her brother, which Kayla would deny. But whether Chief Keef was dissing King Von or not, his decision to pursue Von's sister, despite likely having countless other options, was viewed by many as a form of disrespect. Also in 2024, Keef would make his return to Chicago after being gone for a decade, as he would headline the final day of Lyrical Lemonade's Summer Smash Festival. There was a lot of talk leading up to the performance about whether Keef was going to return to his old stomping grounds at O Block, but while Keef was seemingly quickly in and out of the city while moving with military precision, his Glow Gang associate Tado would return to the neighborhood and even filmed a vlog on Front Street with word from the Trenches YouTube channel, making it clear where Glow Gang's loyalties were aligned.
So where we at, man? You know the we at, man. We live at the building. Front Street, this our man.
man. Lil Boss, GB Tato, RP the Big Boss, RP Blood, Sneak This, Catch a Slug. We outside. We everybody never done peaceful. Okay, so
Hey,
folks,
get your
hold
shit
your
up.
up like this, folks, and put your in the suitcase. Yo, Fredo 715, I'm tweaking off. I'm bringing Fredo fifths of liquor and shit. We out here serving, getting money. I'm pulling up in cars. I was 13, putting up a.
Now, it was clear, at least implicitly, that Chief Keef and his closest friends had chosen their side in the beef between these two sets, and it was a beef that would unfortunately keep escalating. And in the following year, in 2025, it would reach boiling point, allegedly leading to one of the most brazen attacks in recent years, which would leave two highly respected O-Block veterans dead in the street. On May the 10th, 2025, two beloved O-Block members, Munna Duke and Young'un, traveled to Chicago's north side to the Edgewater neighborhood to celebrate the birthday of a fellow O-Block veteran, Gleesh. The group spent the evening at the Pork Chop Barbecue restaurant and bar on the 6300 block of North Broadway, but as the night came to an end and Duke, Young barbecue to celebrate the birthday of a fellow O-Block veteran, Gleesh. The group spent the evening at the Pork Chop chain that seemed to be red from blood, as if snatched off the neck of a dead Munna Duke or Young'un. Meanwhile, well-known ops of O-Block like STL, EBT, Taekwon World, and Jaro City would immediately begin trolling them on social media, while O-Block members both old and young would make social media posts promising revenge, with the younger members announcing to the world that they were already busy sliding on their ops. But who they were hunting is still not clear, as there would be numerous different theories about the possible suspects and the sets they came from. Yet one of the strongest theories would point to O-Block's former friends from Front Street, as online sleuths would claim that the person in the picture holding the O-Block chain while wearing a ski mask was a Front Street member called Boo-Wop, who had been dissing O-Block and their dead members for years at that point. O-Block members were quick to respond to the image by saying that the chain wasn't even Young'un's or Duke's, but that hadn't stopped online sleuths from finding evidence allegedly connecting Front Street to these murders. Eventually, they would begin pointing their fingers towards specific Front Street affiliates, one of these being a member called Deviz, who had seemingly hinted at his involvement numerous times. The most incriminating example being a song that he would post on Instagram where he rapped how one body isn't enough for him and that he needs to catch a few, before adding how the number of his victims was supposed to be 3, but he left with only 2, which seems to be like a clear reference to the fact that the third victim in the Duke and Young'un shooting would actually end up surviving. These lyrics would also be repeated by Boo-Wop in the comments of the post, implying that they clearly had a special meaning behind them. Interestingly, Deviz would end up deleting the post later, apparently not enjoying all the attention that it was getting from places like Reddit. In another song posted on Instagram, Deviz would also rap how O, aka O-Block, knows that he lays real belt, aka kills their members, and how someone got killed right as he stepped out the door, which seems to match with how the hit actually went down, as Duke and Young'un were seemingly attacked as soon as they exited the restaurant. A girl associated with a rival gang would also add to the rumors by posting on Instagram how Front Street were leading O-Block 3-0, with 2 of these bodies presumably referring to Duke and Young'un, while adding that it would be 4-0, but fat guys didn't die that easily, an apparent reference to Big Woney, who had allegedly gotten shot by Front Street in the past. In the aftermath, O-Block members took to social media, angry at people trying to play both sides, and suggesting that plenty of people still had relationships with both O-Block and Front Street, given how closely the two sets had been linked in the past. One member would directly diss Front Street, aka Blood Gang, before also claiming that anybody who was still clicking up with them was an enemy and that he wasn't about to do any talking. About a month after the double murder, YouTuber On A Couch TV released a hood vlog featuring members of Front Street. During the video, he asked about the ongoing tensions with O-Block, but the response was noticeably awkward, with the Front Street member not wanting to speak on the situation.
I don't know nothing about none, but a lot of us did grow up together as kids. Like when Best Rock closed now, we went to Dulles. So a lot of us grew up
neighborhood
together as kids. Like I ain't gonna lie. Now I ain't finna say too much, but yeah, a lot of us did grow up together as kids, but I don't know nothing about nothing, no new shit. I don't know nothing about nothing. I just know we did grow up together. That's just how a lot of shit goes. That's it. That's all I know.
A few weeks later, another YouTuber, Risky Vision, would also shoot a vlog on Front Street, this time with a person who would give a detailed version of what he had heard leading up to the murders of Duke and Young'un, connecting it directly to the murder of Blood Money, also pointing out that these were just rumors and theories that he had heard.
So basically, to catch us up to what's going on right now today, on the internet somewhere, some people got into it. They got into it, O-Block and Front Street, Chief Keef, whatever the case may be, do your homework, Blood Money, RIP, you feel me? From there, a motherfucker is responsible for Blood Money. Feel some type of way, you see what I'm saying? And allegedly, O-Block is responsible for doing something to Blood Money. Alright, now, I don't know who did what to nobody, but after the Munna Duke situation, rest in peace, and Young'un situation, rest in peace, the internet showed somebody taking a picture from down here and all that Y'all do your own calculations. Blam. All right, cool. So now it's them versus O-Block type. And the streets saying it's get back for blood money. You see what I'm saying?
But whether or not these rumors are true or not, this is all context that leads up to Chief Keef releasing the song Rooms together with NBA Youngboy, which many fans would take as Chief Keef fully turning his back, not just on his old friends, but the entire city of Chicago, given how at this point Lil Durk had become the face or the voice of the entire Chicago rap scene. Meanwhile, Youngboy and his 4K Trey crew from the southern city of Baton Rouge in Louisiana, who had become known as Lil Durk and the OTF crew's main rivals, with the Chicago versus Baton Rouge gang war leading to some deadly real-life consequences, with their feud being the direct cause of the death of King Von, as well as the murder of Quando Rondo's cousin Lil Pab that ultimately led Lil Durk being hit with murder for hire charges. And the fans weren't the only ones who were upset. Some people affiliated with OTF would also be angry at Keef linking up with Youngboy, with one young affiliate announcing how Keef was going against OTF and therefore
I just built a budgeting app with Base 44.
Nina just built an app.
So we can all build apps now?
I'm on.
Today, Jeffrey Epstein is famous all around the world for his horrible crimes against women and girls. But did you know there have been dozens of suspicious deaths connected to Epstein, both while he was alive and since his death? Some of these seem like perfect accidents, people getting sudden illnesses and dropping dead, plunging from tall buildings, or often in prison, but others were so suspicious that it's impossible not to think these were straight-up murders carried out to protect Epstein and silence anyone who even thought about exposing him. In this video, I'm going to
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done.
Yeah, baby.
영주입니다. 윈입니다.
카이 세나트 못지 않냐?
해투와 매튜 실사. 해투에서 좀 짤로 쓰고 싶은데 저거 마음에 드는데.
Learning some Korean words and some Korean stuff. So, 감사합니다. Love y'all boys, man. Hit the subscribe button. Let's get straight into the video. Whoa. What's good with y'all YouTube, man? I'm about to be learning some Korean words and some Korean stuff. So, 감사합니다. Love y'all boys, man. Hit the subscribe button. Let's get straight into the video. Whoa, whatever the hell what we're about to do, we're about to get lit. So, I'm excited. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
My name is Cha Kang-han and you can call me Cha Cha.
Cha-cha, okay.
My name is.
Turn around.
뒤로 돌아보래. Okay.
Why? Why do you have that on?
Every Korean love Messi.
No, that's not true.
I'm a messy person.
You a messy person?
Yeah.
For real.
This is sad, bro. This is sad. What about you?
Ronaldo.
Thank you. Come on. Suey.
Messi.
You a Messi fan too?
No.
Oh, hell no. What, bro? Like, what is this? Anyways, what's your name?
My name is Myungjin. You can call me MJ.
Myungjin?
Myungjin.
Myungjin.
Yes.
Myungjin.
I'm Woody Goldchild.
Woody Goldchild?
Woody Goldchild.
Woody Goldchild.
Yes, sir.
Well, my name is Jim, and you just call me Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Okay. And what's your
What's your
real
name?
My name's D.
D.
Yeah, D.
D.
D's nuts. Nah, my name is Speed.
Is this your nickname or real name?
Oh, Speed is my real name. My last name, cause I told you, I originated from Portugal, so my last name is Ronaldo. And I'm not even trolling.
Do you know about Korean food?
Oh yeah, barbecue and ramen.
We have a spice ramen.
You want to try best one?
Yeah, just one.
Yeah, let's go.
이건 한국에서 제일 유명한 매운 라면입니다. 불닭볶음면.
나는 이거 먹으면 귀가 아파.
What the fuck does that mean? Nah, bro. Nah, this dude got a weird body. How does your ears hurt when you eat spicy ramen?
Oh. Be careful, please.
Let's drink this one together.
Nigga.
Oh, she look older than me?
No, she doesn't.
Oh. And you are a teenager, right?
No.
Teenager.
No, I am actually 26, by the way.
You can call me Nuna.
By the way.
You can call me Nuna.
Nuna. Oh, you got like 5 names. Cha-Cha, Nuna. What else? What else do I call you?
Because Nuna is...
Older sister.
Oh, older sister.
Yeah, older sister.
Oh, so you're older sister?
Yeah. 한국에 있는 동안 이 말을 진짜 많이 쓸 수 있어요.
LMAO?
얼마예요?
Lame-o.
How much is it?
Oh my yayo.
Try.
Gangnam. Like Gangnam style. Ganji?
Can you guess the meaning?
Let's see, the root meaning of this is game.
Game? 아마도 너가 가지고 있을 것 같다.
Oh, I have a BBC, Gahaji. Yeah, you didn't understand it. Why she trying to act like she don't understand?
No.
She did not understand the joke. She's laughing like she understood the joke.
I
She's
read
thinking.
it about American slangs before, so I know it.
All right, then. What is a BBC?
Oh, she said she does know, bro.
Oh my god. 너 왜 알아? It's mean dog.
Dog?
Yes. Doggy.
Like dog?
Yeah. 강아지한테 물린 거 봤어요.
Yeah, I did right here.
Oh, really? 상처 났어. 피 났어요?
Penis? She said penis?
No! 피 났냐?
Oh, did you bleed?
Yeah, I bled.
It's simple. Because too simply.
Yeppy yo-yo.
Yappy yo.
Example is me. Mean.
It's a cat.
Yes, it's mean. Okay.
Yeppy yo-yo. What does that mean?
Prefer pretty is me.
Oh, she's calling.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's cat.
Yeah, it's this word in English called a cat.
Okay.
It's
Before you dig, drill, or build, what's really beneath the surface? Hidden cables,
Yeah.
But we do need a light though. Just put the light on me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Bro, use Madrid, bro. I don't need Madrid. Wallet, damn. You think I need Madrid to beat Marlon?
All right, bet. Send him on. You ready or what?
Yeah, let's do it. Start match. Come on, baby.
Come on. Come on. All right.
Mendy.
Good.
And Bellingham.
Good belly. Good belly. Good belly. Go belly. Go belly. Go belly. Yep. Come back in. Easy. Take him out. Good. Come back in. Snatch. Ah, that was too much. Run!
And pressing from the front. Given away
What?
by Barcelona.
Yo.
Stay. Whiskey biscuits. Whiskey fucking biscuits. Whiskey fucking biscuits.
Ah! Let's go!
Kylian Mbappe.
Is that better, chat? Yes or no? Is that better? Yes or no?
Vamos. All right, so lock in.
Pedri.
It's all defense. He's off. You got that. Stay solid.
What the? Why is he so, bro?
Good Militao.
Mbappe. Oh, could be an opportunity here.
Yo, Trent, you're such a weak little.
Pass it! God damn it! Yo, bro, what is this game? I was about to say, what the hell is this game?
Pressure is on. Frankie de Jong. Here's Rafinha.
Where's my defense?
Oh my God, what a...
If you as a gay person would go to Gaza, they'd throw you off of tall buildings, right? Now they don't have any tall buildings left, so I don't...
When you mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Is that too soon? I'm sorry. Maybe you should...
My information is that there's been no pressure from any country, the United States or any other country. And the invitation to the G7 does not mean that you are being snubbed if you are not invited or you are being ignored. And there are so many countries around the world that don't get invited to the G7. And we are not a member, and remember, South Africa is not a member. And when we do go, we are invited and we take a message there. We haven't attended every G7. So if we don't go to this one, it should never be a surprise to anyone.
If you as a gay person would go to Gaza, they'd throw you off a tall...
Battles fought for... Now seems like an appropriate...
Where was I?
Alright, now seems like an appropriate time to make this video, considering the release of Dune Part 3 trailer. It seems like for years, modern American wars have been covered in a moral language, that being battles fought for freedom or justice or civilization, quote unquote. However, in recent years, there's been a subset of American Christian culture that has taken this a bit further by transforming war from a tragic necessity into some form of sacred mission.
Are you looking forward to Armageddon?
I definitely am.
So you're looking forward to Armageddon?
I'm looking forward to Armageddon and looking forward to the cleansing of the earth.
And what will happen is Israel and the Western world, in order to save our type of civilization, have got to fight the Muslim. And if we don't take out Iran one way or another, if we move out of Iraq, the Muslims are going to take over and they're going to follow us here.
Now, recently, of course, as the United States joined Israel in a new conflict with Iran, there have been actual reports emerging of military commanders encouraging troops to see the war as, quote, all part of God's divine plan. One U.S. Army non-commissioned officer recounted that his commander explicitly cited the Bible's Book of Revelation, invoking Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ to cast the Iran war in prophetic terms. And this isn't just an isolated incident. According to the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, more than 200 service members across all branches have filed complaints in the first week of the war, describing superiors who were seeing the conflict as a potential apocalyptic prophecy or something like that. And this isn't just happening in the military.
It'll all play out in God's perfect timing. But I can say this. When we see this kind of activity in that part of the world, it reminds me of the words of Jesus, who said, when you see these things begin to happen, look up, because your redemption is drawing near. As far as I can see, the next event on the prophetic calendar will be the rapture of the church. But what we should be doing right now is pray for this whole campaign to come to a successful end. Pray for our military. Pray that God gives wisdom to our president and his cabinet.
Now, this is all a process that has been growing and has been active in the United States for a long time. We've talked about American Christian nationalist rhetoric. We didn't really get into how they sacralize modern conflict. However, all this has been very apparent in this explicit framing of this holy war, especially in today's political and military culture. The United States has had a long history of wrapping its wars in moral and religious narratives, as American political leaders and institutions frequently portray American military violence as a force of higher virtues, that being redemption, rescue, order, or freedom. During World War II and the Cold War, we began to see United States interventions explicitly take on religious undertones. In 1954, amidst the Cold War against, quote, godless communism, the phrase "under God" was inserted into the Pledge of Allegiance, and Congress adopted "In God We Trust" as the national motto in 1956, which were symbolic moves to distinguish the United States from atheistic Soviet communism. President Ronald Reagan sharpened this language in 1983 when he denounced the Soviet Union as a, quote, evil empire, casting this whole geopolitical struggle as a battle of good versus evil, and even aligning American aims with God's purposes.
Of Evangelicals community from coast to coast in our great land deeply appreciates and values his love for the truth of the Bible and his commitment to its great moral values. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
I would rather see my little girls die now, still believing in God, than have them grow up under communism and one day die no longer believing in God. I urge you to beware the temptation of pride, the temptation of blithely declaring yourselves above it all and label both sides equally at fault, to ignore the facts of history and the aggressive impulses of an evil empire, to simply call the arms race a giant misunderstanding, and thereby remove yourself from the struggle between right and wrong and good and evil.
This game, you're not.
Even in the Vietnam War, American officials spoke of defending the, quote, free world from godless communism. President Lyndon B. Johnson invoked duty and providence in justifying escalation. Prominent evangelist Billy Graham was also an ardent supporter of U.S. intervention in Vietnam, repeatedly describing communism as fundamentally opposed to Christianity and freedom, and even encouraging American leaders to stay the course.
Only a couple of years ago, these young men would have been embarrassed to tell what patriotism meant to them, how much they loved their homes, their God, their country. Now they daily risk their lives for their beliefs. This vast cross-section of America, it's young, tired, gallant fighting men. This is not only the face of America, this is the heart of America. They will return, most of them.
It's here we begin to see American wars being sold as necessary acts of virtue, whether it's being justified through administering freedom or administering God. And we see even more of this after the September 11th, 2001 attacks, as President George W. Bush spoke of a global fight for freedom against, quote, an axis of evil. And although Bush did not say America was at war with Islam, some U.S. military and political figures cast the war on terror in, frankly, spiritual terms. Lieutenant General William Jerry Boykin, a Defense Department official, publicly described the post-9/11 conflict as a confrontation between Judeo-Christian civilization and Satan. He told audiences that America was a, quote, Christian nation engaged in God's army against a spiritual enemy.
Our God is more powerful and is the victor in the end. So we need to remember that. Listen, I would say one thing about the whole issue of Islam. When the president says it's a religion of peace, he's made two serious mistakes, either unknowingly or wittingly in a deceptive way. And one is there's no history of peace within Islam, and two is it's not a religion. It's a totalitarian way of life with a religious component. That's the fundamental problem in America with dealing with Islam. We still treat it as if it's protected by the First Amendment.
But this is something that has become more mainstream. Nevertheless, American political culture has long tried to moralize or justify their wars, painting them as righteous endeavors against this sort of embodied evil.
Your daughters will be raped and your sons beheaded unless we stop Islam once and for all. We're done turning the other cheek. Remember, David didn't pray for Goliath. He killed them. America is a Christian nation, so those terrorist Muslims can f off to any of the 57 Muslim nations. There is only one true God, and that is the God of Israel.
Over decades, we've seen a civil religious framework that has taken shape to blend patriotic ideals with biblical archetypes, all in order to reassure Americans that their violence was not ordinary violence. It was elevated violence. It's all justified by God.
I'm in Israel, and of course Hamas violated the peace deal. Now they're getting bombed. I get my popcorn ready. Let the fireworks begin.
And like I said, what has changed in the present is the intensity of this sacralization. In earlier conflicts, moral framing was often built up gradually or applied retrospectively to justify sacrifices made. However, today, the sacred narrative is laid down almost immediately. When a conflict begins, it's almost instantly packaged by Christian nationalist voices as existential, civilizational, and even prophetic. When children, unfortunately, start being bombed, the theology arrives to justify it as before the public can fully even ask why a war is happening, who benefits, how many civilians are dying, or whether escalation could be stopped. A complete moral script is already in place.
We pray for the peace of Jerusalem and the many Christians in Iran that will now be free to worship you in spirit and in truth. Today we rejoice in the prophetic scriptures of Ezekiel revealing God's Operation Fury for the enemies of Israel in the near future.
Just to make sure we're caught up to speed here, Christian nationalism in the United States is a worldview that fuses American national identity with a particular vision of Christian mission. It asserts that America is chosen by God and has a divine role to play in history, often in tandem with the nation of Israel. This ideology has existed in various forms for a long time, but in this current era, it has become even more explicit, even more apocalyptic, and even more deeply intertwined with U.S. foreign policy.
President Trump has also been very consistent. Crazy regimes like Iran, hell-bent on prophetic Islamist delusions, cannot have nuclear weapons. It's common sense. Many have said it, but it takes guts to actually enforce it, and our president has guts.
And the shift from merely moralizing war to completely sanctifying it or treating it as a holy prophecy has become very visible during this whole U.S.-Israel conflict with Iran, as top American and Israeli leaders have openly used religious and apocalyptic language in order to justify military actions. For example, in late February 2026, just as hostilities with Iran began, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pointedly invoked the biblical command to, quote, remember what Amalek did to you.
אנחנו קראנו בפרשת השבוע, זכור את אשר עשה לך עמלק. אנחנו זוכרים ואנחנו פועלים. ואם למשטר האימים הזה יהיה נשק גרעיני, הם יאיימו על האנושות כולה. ובכן יצאנו כדי להרחיק גם את הסכנה הזאת, קודם כל מעצמנו, מעלינו. אבל אנחנו פועלים כאן, יחד עם ארצות הברית, בשם ולמען האנושות כולה.
In this reference to the Amalekites, that being an ancient enemy in the Hebrew Bible whose memory the Israelites are told to blot out, was not neutral here. Netanyahu equated Iran's Islamist regime with Amalek, essentially framing Iran as a manifestation of absolute evil that must be utterly defeated. Netanyahu had used the same Amalek reference in 2023 when rallying troops against Hamas in Gaza. And American leaders under President Trump have also gone on to cast the war in spiritual terms. Mike Huckabee, a Baptist minister and longtime Christian Zionist who became U.S. ambassador to Israel in 2025, openly grounded his diplomacy in biblical prophecy. In a widely discussed interview with Tucker Carlson, conducted in Israel and posted on February 2026, Huckabee agreed that it would be, quote, fine if Israel expanded to control essentially the entire Middle East, because, quote, God gave Israel that land by covenant.
I think it says from the Nile to the Euphrates, which is, once again, basically the entire Middle East. So God gave that land to his people, the Jews, or he didn't. You're saying he did. What does that mean? Does Israel have the right to that land? Because you're appealing to Genesis.
Yeah.
You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all.
Yes, the U.S. envoy to Jerusalem has publicly asserted that Israel has a biblical right to seize enormous swaths of neighboring territory, which is a statement that collapses any distinction between ancient promise and modern policy. You're not supposed to mix the two, right? Or maybe you are. I don't know. All that to say, this is a very big example of Christian nationalist geopolitics. As the war with Iran escalated, the American Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, also leaned fully into biblical justification. Now, a vocal Christian nationalist, Hegseth has never hidden his view that the U.S. is or should be a Christian nation, or that military campaigns are enmeshed with spiritual warfare, but with this active war underway, his rhetoric has even become more pointed. In press briefings about the Iran conflict, Hegseth routinely invokes scripture. At one Pentagon briefing, he literally recited Psalm 144, Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. He cast the Iran campaign as a confrontation with, quote, religious fanatics who seek a nuclear capability in order for some religious Armageddon, as he told CBS News. So in effect, the Pentagon's top official has portrayed the war as spiritual warfare, a battle of God-fearing American warriors against an evil Islamist regime that yearns for Armageddon. It's only ironic enough that Christian nationalists also yearn for Armageddon.
President Trump had made the announcement, we have now given you, Iranian people, the opportunity to take back your country. You have to remember something. Even though CNN is screaming that Trump promised to never be involved in regime change, this is not regime change. This is removing the obstacles so that the people can pick their leadership. That's not regime change.
Rhetoric like this effectively sacralizes military service and warfare. It echoes the promises once made by medieval popes to crusaders, as well as the more recent comments by the head of the Russian Orthodox Church justifying Russia's war. This is the exact kind of scenario foreseen by those warning against Christian nationalist extremism in government. We've also seen prominent religious allies of the Trump administration likewise use the biblical good versus evil framing to celebrate this war. Evangelist Franklin Graham, son of Billy Graham, cheered the initial U.S.-Israel strikes on Iran. Early on the morning after the bombing began, Franklin Graham posted on social media that he, quote, supported the mission and prayed the war would help the Iranian people, quote, be set free from the bondage of Islam. This is the same guy that had been invited by Pete Hegseth to preach at a Christmas worship service inside the Pentagon just 2 months prior, in December 2025, where he delivered a message about God not only being a God of love, but also a God of war? I don't know.
You know, God is a God of love, and we know that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should perish, but should have everlasting life. We know that God loves. But did you know that God also hates? Do you know that God also is a God of war?
He read from the Old Testament story of King Saul and Amalek, that being the very passage that calls for the total annihilation of Israel's enemies.
I will punish Amalek for what he did to Israel and how he ambushed him on the way when they came up from Egypt. Now go and attack Amalek and utterly destroy them, and don't spare them, but killed them both man, woman, infant, nursing child, ox, sheep, camel, and donkey.
Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, now ambassador to Israel, also routinely describes Israel in covenant terms as a special place because God made it special, citing Genesis 12:3 that those who bless Israel will be blessed and those who curse Israel will be cursed.
This is the land. Genesis 12:3. He says, I will bless those who bless you, curse those who curse you. In Genesis 17, he looks out at the world, he says, look, and this is where I'm giving you the land.
I think
and
it's
since that time, there have been people living in this land, connected to that moment of history.
Now, what we're witnessing here is a convergence of foreign policy, military strategy, and religious prophecy that are being fused into this one seamless narrative. That being that wars are justified and even welcomed as fulfillments of scripture. Death is okay. And the conflict of Iran has become the prime example of this. Within hours of the first strikes, influential pastors were preaching that this war was, quote, part of a divine plan, and that this was...
This year, we have joined hundreds of Zoom classes. Sure, man, come on now. Nah, man, y'all ain't free to trick me to go against Diddy, because he was whooping this bitch. In mighty fact, the bitch ain't come out and said it.
Okay,
On our goddamn thing in the kitchen, it ain't brought nothing in the...
Question number 8, which should be in the chat, but you might not be able to see. What's your opinion of the Trisolarans? Did anyone else want to comment on that?
I got the people on my side. Yeah, ain't nobody fucking with me. Go run down the list. Run down the list, nigga. I got the biggest numbers on 85 South show, nigga. I got some of the largest numbers on the 20 Marco show. Ain't none of you niggas fucking with me. Little bitty
We have a Zoom bomber.
No
That was pretty cool. Oh, and he didn't stay on, so he got off. I like that.
things happen, you know?
We all just met Charleston White. Wild.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us and coming on, and we'll have to talk some more. Great. Okay, is there anybody we missed? I don't think Lisa, Charleston, come on. Networking is not about hiding. You can see if possible.
Good morning. Wrong with you niggas. I bet you ain't got up and ate no breakfast. Don't nobody love you niggas enough to wake up and cook you no mother.
Welcome to the physics basement. Don't look out there. Don't look out there. Just stay down here. Stay down here and learn physics. That's what we should do. Ignore it. Like for the next whatever many minutes, let's just be chill. Let's talk about a physics problem. So, you have some charge Q, a distance d, above some infinite grounded conducting plane. Grounded means the potential across the plane is 0. But what is the potential above the plane? Like, there's a charge there. There's an electric field there because there's a charge there. There's some sort of electric potential there. Electric potential tells us how much work it will take to move some test charge through this field from one point to another. You could relate electric potential in electromagnetism to gravitational potential in mechanics.
Hey, my sister, please get us a flying fish.
Welcome to the physics basement. Don't look out there. Don't look out there. Just stay down here. Stay down here and learn physics. There's some sort of electric potential there. Electric potential tells us how much work it will take to move some test charge through this field from one point to another. You could relate electric potential in electromagnetism to gravitational potential in mechanics and gravity. What we do know is that charge just being there, some distance d, above this infinite grounded conducting plane will induce a charge across this conductor. What we don't know is how much charge will be induced across this conductor and how that charge will be spread across this conductor. And that becomes a problem because the traditional way to answer the question, what is the potential above this infinite grounded conducting plane due to this charge, is to solve Poisson's equation. If you know the electric field, because you know the charge density distribution, you can calculate the potential field. If you know the potential field, you can work backwards and get the charge distribution. You can reveal Poisson's equations in electrostatics by starting with